On May 19, 1996, one of the deadliest days in Mount Everest's history, a group of climbers was making its final push toward the summit. But what some don't realize is that beyond the storms and extreme altitudes, there's a darker, silent terror that haunts the mountain, the bodies of climbers who never made it back. Among these frozen figures is a man known only as Green Boots, named after the bright green climbing boots he wore when he died. He lies along the path climbers must take to the summit, a grim reminder that Everest does not forgive mistakes. For the inexperienced or distracted, encountering these frozen bodies can be jarring. Most climbers hurry past without looking, but some can't help staring, and those who do often speak of a chill unlike any they've felt from the biting Himalayan wind. One account comes from a climber in 2019 who described rounding a bend near the yellow band, only to see a figure in a red parka slumped on the snow, arms outstretched as if reaching for help. At first, they thought it was a living climber, lost and suffering, but as they got closer, the realization hit. This was one of Everest's many permanent residents, a frozen corpse, staring silently into the void. The climber, shaken, turned away quickly, but the image stayed with him. At night, in base camp, he couldn't shake the sense that something followed him in his dreams. Whispers carried by the wind, icy hands brushing his shoulders. He described it as if the mountain itself was reminding him of its toll. It's not just Green Boots. There's a woman, known as Pink Boots, frozen mid-step on the South Col, and a climber nicknamed Rainbow Socks, whose colorful gear contrasts starkly against the endless white snow. They lie there not as warnings alone, but as grim waypoints on the treacherous ascent, silently telling a story of ambition, desperation, and mortality. Many climbers attempt to avoid looking directly at them, yet some can't help but notice something disturbing. Even in death, these figures seem alive. Eyes barely open, fingers curled as if still gripping ice axes, faces frozen in expressions of fear, agony, or sheer determination. And then there are the stories of climbers who swear that the bodies move when no one is watching. A guide in 2016 recounted leaving a frozen climber behind one day, only to find him in a slightly different position the next morning, closer to the trail. Skeptics say it's just wind or melting snow, but those who've spent nights above 26,000 feet say it's something else entirely. Something that watches, waits, and lingers. The mountain preserves these climbers perfectly, keeping their bodies suspended in time. Unlike anywhere else in the world, the remains are not buried, and removing them is often impossible. Helicopters can't land above certain altitudes, and any attempt to carry a body down risks the lives of the living. This leaves the mountain as a frozen graveyard, a testament to human fragility against nature's cruelty. One climber described passing Green Boots in a blizzard. He swore he could hear a whisper carried on the wind, a plea for help, though no human voice could survive that altitude. Others report that when the fog clears, they catch glimpses of climbers standing where they shouldn't, figures that vanish when approached. It's easy to dismiss these as hallucinations brought on by hypoxia, exhaustion, and the hallucination-prone high-altitude conditions. But for those who've been there, the line between the living and the dead feels terrifyingly thin. The mountain keeps them both in its grip, and for anyone ascending, it's a constant, unnerving reminder. At Everest's heights, death isn't an event, it's a presence. In 1996, during the infamous storm that claimed 8 climbers, survivors reported seeing a pair of gloves moving across the snow as they scrambled for shelter. One mountaineer swore he saw a figure in red boots trying to step onto the trail, only to vanish into the storm. When he told other climbers, they nodded grimly, too familiar with Everest's ghost to be surprised. Even in modern times, bodies remain where they fell. Tourists photographing the summit often unknowingly capture them in their shots. Guides will sometimes warn climbers, don't look too closely. Some things are better left frozen in time. It's a haunting irony. Everest, the world's ultimate symbol of conquest, is also its most merciless graveyard. For every triumphant summit photo, there are dozens of bodies frozen to mid-step, reminders of ambition, miscalculation, and the sheer indifferent power of nature. Many climbers have returned home forever changed, carrying images of bodies etched in their minds. Some have nightmares of climbers standing in base camp tents at night, or of hands reaching up from the snow as if asking to be pulled to safety. For the mountaineering world, these frozen figures have even become markers, cautioning new climbers. Every step carries risk, and even the most experienced are not immune. And for the rest of us, watching from afar, they are a chilling reminder. Death on Everest is not sudden. It lingers, it waits, it watches. So next time you see a photo from Everest, don't just admire the summit. Look closer. Among the snow, the ice, and the clouds, the dead may still be standing, silently witnessing every attempt to conquer the mountain that never forgets. Everest is more than a peak. It's a monument to human ambition and a cemetery where dreams and lives freeze eternally. And if you ever climb it, remember, the mountain doesn't just test the living, it keeps the dead company, forever watching those who dare to follow in their steps.